We have travel protection for our luggage, pets, and family members, but one thing we never think about, and God forbid we pass away while traveling and leaving behind the burden for family members to figure out what to do, and that's where Mountain View Funeral Home and Cemetery comes in to talk to us about travel protection. But it's not the travel protection people are thinking. They're thinking, oh great, my luggage is secured, everything's like that, and why, of course, is a funeral home cemetery trying to sell me travel protection? But let's talk to Lisa, because this is about making sure if something does happen to you, you pass away on vacation, that burdens down your family to get you home and get your burial wishes taken care of. So let's talk a little about that.
Yeah, so here's the thing. When people talk about travel protection, they think about European vacations, going to the Bahamas. But it's actually away from home coverage, because when you're traveling more than 75 miles away from your home and something happens and you pass, there are unknown expenses, unknown funeral home in an area that you've never worked with or dealt with, and that's what we help with. We help them have a plan in place, one-time fee, lifetime guarantee, so that no matter where you are, 75 miles away from home or further, we bring you back at no additional cost.
And that's very important, especially when, mom and dad who are in their 80s, 90s, who do have health problems that want to travel around to see families before they say goodbye, because they know maybe they are having a tremendous, illness that, can't be recovered back. And that's why it's so important for this, because again, it is very expensive. Yeah. And I know firsthand, because my father was a mortician, my brother is one, that just, getting a person back, is expensive. The tickets, the funeral home that has to take care of the funeral home back and forth. So how does this work? How do people sign up for this?
So can I share a quick story?
Yeah, please do.
So, one of the disappointments as a funeral director is a lot of times we don't have the privilege of knowing the person that passed away, and we hear the stories from their families afterwards. But not always. When we talk about topics like today, we can pre-plan. Yeah. So we do get to know the person. So I had a woman come in about 6-7 years ago, and she had just turned 70, and she was very concerned about what was going to happen as her fixed income continued to dwindle. And in our conversation of pre-planning, she was kind of in a hurry and needed to get this all done. And through the conversation, she shared with me she was going to visit her daughter in New York. And so I said, well, wait a minute. I said, how often do you go see your daughter? And she goes, well, as often as I can. So one of the things we talked about is, Brad, what we're talking about today is this travel protection. And while she was on a fixed income, she saw the value of making sure that if something happened by her daughters or at her sons, that she would be covered. Well, ironically that I'm here today, yesterday her son called and said, my mom is not very well, and we're very scared because she's visiting my sister, who's now in South Carolina. Actually, she had moved, and he goes, we don't know what to do. Our plans are with you. How do we get her back? Pulled the file, and I said, I remember your mom. She came in and we talked, and she's covered. You make one phone call and we bring her back, and it cost you nothing.
Yeah.
They were so grateful and relieved.
Yeah, and then that's what this protection's about. And like you said right there, people on fixed incomes or not fixed incomes, it's very inexpensive to start this program.
Right.
To get done. And again, if you will live for 100, 200 years,
yep,
it's still nice to have this in place. It's all there for you. And again, the burden of the family. So,
right.
And we're talking about ages. Is there an age limit to start this plan?
No, I actually got mine when I was in my 30s. And then as I got married, had kids, got older, my husband and I do some traveling. I bought him his for Father's Day about 5 years ago. And it's nice to have it in place because it's one time guaranteed for life. We had a lady, her and her husband were taking their grandchildren to Germany. He died in the airport in Germany.
Oh my gosh.
And she called, what do? I go, you know what to do. You just did it. You called me. And we were able to coordinate and make all the arrangements for him to be cremated. The family went on to have their vacation. They brought the cremated remains home. And they were, 70s, 80s, something like that.
And that's what I love about Mountain View Funeral Home and Cemetery, is that you're there to sit and have the talk with them. You guys have workshops. You have ways to talk to family members about doing this.
That's right.
And that's what's important, because no one wants to talk about pre-planning their funerals and doing that. It's kind of scary to people, yep, but having things in place is so important.
Yeah, I just got back from Toronto. My son graduated, and you're talking to people, you've got layovers, and always the question comes up of what you do, and it amazes me how much people don't know about the funeral industry and how they can be prepared and how they can have plans in place, and they oftentimes are looking for someone to talk to that's not trying to sell them anything, just educate them, and that's what we do at Mountain Views. We just educate people. The choice is theirs, but the information is ours to give.
Yeah, very important, especially as we see people's health up and down and stuff to do this. So,
correct.
All right, tell people where they can find out more about the travel protection and also about the different workshops that you guys do.
Thank you. So we offer a lot of workshops, the sensitive side of life. We are at Mountain View Funeral Home and Cemetery. That is our website, Mountain View Funeral Home and Cemetery. And we can be reached 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Visit our website. We're on Twitter. We're on TikTok. We are on Facebook, Instagram. Follow us. Send us a message. We can come out to the home. You can come to our office. We're out there. We just make ourselves available.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you for that information, too. For
Great,
everybody
appreciate it.
All right, we got more Mix coming up right after this.